Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about the second stimulus check as well as the unemployment being extended, the boost for unemployment being extended. So hey guys, thanks for tuning in. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I like to talk about finance and just talk about wisdom around being able to take care of your money. So yes, if you haven't heard, yes, the second stimulus check has been confirmed. All parties have agreed that we will indeed get a second stimulus check. Now, all details are not worked out as of yet, like far as the timing and when will it be passed and things like that. But the details about, well, how much the stimulus check will be have kind of been already worked out, which is the same as before. So it's kind of funny because they go through this whole ordeal of, well, we don't think people need another stimulus, and well, let's see what happens, only to come back to, well, let's do exactly what we already did. Now, the pros with doing exactly what they've already done, and so because of previously going through that process, it makes it a lot easier for them to be able to put the money right into your account or on those debit cards that they sent out. Now, granted, there are about 4 or 5 million people who still haven't got their stimulus check, so that's interesting. But now more people will get a stimulus check on this second go around because they've closed that ugly loophole. Like if you were 18 in college, you might not have got a stimulus check, but now they're going to make sure they count everybody, or make an attempt to try to account for everybody. So just as before, the details will be if you're single and you make under $75,000 a year, then you're going to get a stimulus check. Now, if you make over, then it will be reduced by that amount that you're over $75,000 a year by 5%. So if you're a couple and you make under $150,000 a year, then both of you will get a stimulus check, and the same parameters are before. If it's above 150, then they're going to start to reduce that. But if you're below 150,000, then both of you will get that $1,200 check. Plus, if you guys have any kids, each kids will be $500. So now when this will actually happen and when these checks will be in our accounts, we're not really too sure, because you have one side that wants to, put this thing together by pieces, meaning, let's just do what we need to do now so we can get that money out. And then you have some, like Nancy Pelosi, who said they didn't really want to piece this thing together and wanted it all to be together in just one big plan. So now that could delay, along with other things where they're trying to do the payroll, tax credit and things like this, where it could delay it a little bit if they're doing it all together. Now, I like the idea of doing it in pieces, because you can address those areas, ASAP. So just like that, with unemployment, the unemployment will definitely be extended. So you have some that are fighting for that unemployment boost to be $600, and then you have it where others are saying, well, we're going to reduce it, to just $200 or $300 extra, each week. Now, I've even seen it where they're thinking about, oh, well, let's just do $100 extra, each week for that unemployment boost. Now, for me personally, I disagree with lowering that amount, because a lot of people say, well, a lot of people are making more money on unemployment than they did, when they were working on their job. Well, that's not the case. That's like the talk and the conversation, but that's not true for everybody. On top of that, unemployment is still growing. You're talking about 18 straight weeks of just unemployment nonstop. So that's still happening. And with school about to start, you see that a lot of school boards are starting to, put out their intent for what they plan on doing. And you see, especially like here where I am, all the schools have been voting to do virtual for that first semester at least. So what does that do for people who work and who jobs are not, they can't work from home, and they're not, their jobs are not going to work with them. So what do they do about their kids needing to be at home, and if they can't afford daycare? I've seen several comments, and I know people who have actually had to leave their job in order just to take care of their kids because there was nothing that they could do. But the hard part is you want your kids to learn, and you don't want them to go to school, but you also got to work. And so you're going to see people get forced into not being able to work behind that whole process as well, just because they don't have any help, or there's nothing that they can do about the situation at this time. Not everybody can afford a nanny or whatever. On top of that, you already see where some states, because of the numbers rising around, the illness that's going around, they've started to retract and go backwards. So you have people that have started to work and they were getting back to working, and then they lost their job or got furloughed or got laid off again because the numbers have been going just haywire in a lot of places. So now the thing about the unemployment boost that they just had, it actually expires this week, is that it had a direct correlation with our GDP being boosted. And so with that money being put into people's hands, it's actually kind of helped to hold up our economy as far as people still buying stuff and things like that. And to go even further, think about the people who are renting. So once they can't pay their rent because of the reduction of the amount, then that affects the person that owns the property. It affects the landlord. So now, for example, I know here the moratoriums, that the bans around the evictions have been lifted. So what happens if you own a home and the person that is renting from you can't afford to pay the rent? Now, if you evict them, you definitely have a chance of not getting any rent now. And who's to say who might be able to move in if people don't have the income? So now how does that affect you as the renter? Now you have a property, and if you still have a loan on that property, you have to pay that extra money. Well, what if you can't pay that extra money? Then you end up doing what? Losing that place, facing possible foreclosure of your rental property. And then that rental property goes over to the banks, and the banks really don't want to have it, but you kind of see the domino effect that happens if you start cutting money. Now, I know a lot of people, like I said, they just think that the unemployment boost and the amount of money is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And so at this point, really what we need to do, because we didn't, our government didn't necessarily handle this whole situation the best way. And so because of the way things are now, it's very essential that, you're going to have to get people money. Not everybody, and a lot of people are not in the position to being able to sustain themselves through things like this. And if you don't know, not everybody that has claimed for unemployment has even gotten paid. It's only been 60% of people that have been getting paid from unemployment. So there's still a large amount of people who still have not gotten paid because they're out of work or whatever the case. And so needless to say, at least these two things are being extended, and we will see some things start to happen for that. And hopefully, like I said, they'll do it in pieces. All right, guys, that's just my update. I really don't like making updates about, possible thoughts or anything like that, but I really like to make updates about what's definitely going to happen. And so those are two things that are definitely going to happen. We are definitely going to get a stimulus check, and then the unemployment boost is definitely going to be extended. I mean, there's nothing else you can really do about it. All right, guys, hope this has been helpful. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.